For a long time, I thought being a good dog owner mostly meant doing the obvious things correctly. Feed your dog properly, exercise them enough, teach obedience, give them structure, and make sure they behave well in public. And honestly, those things absolutely matter. But over time, I started noticing something that completely changed how I understand dogs and their relationship with humans. Some dogs seemed emotionally secure even without perfect obedience, while others had excellent training but still looked anxious, unsettled, or emotionally disconnected. That contradiction stayed with me for a long time because it did not fit what I believed dogs truly needed most. Then I started paying less attention to commands and more attention to emotional atmosphere. I began watching how dogs responded to human energy, routines, predictability, emotional tension, and the quality of connection inside the relationship itself. And honestly, that changed everything for me. I realized many dogs are not just responding to training but constantly responding to how emotionally safe, stable, and understandable life feels around them every day. Most owners believe dogs mainly need exercise, stimulation, discipline, and obedience. While those things matter enormously, many dogs also need emotional things from humans that often get overlooked completely. Dogs need emotional stability, predictability, calm leadership, trust, patience, consistency, and connection. They constantly read human behavior far more deeply than many people realize. One thing I completely underestimated early on was how emotionally sensitive dogs really are. Dogs notice tone shifts, frustration, tension, body language, routines, conflict, stress, and emotional inconsistency incredibly quickly. Many owners focus heavily on controlling behavior while unintentionally overlooking how emotionally overwhelmed or unsettled the dog may already feel internally. The dog may obey commands while still feeling emotionally unsafe underneath. That realization changed how I started looking at behavior problems overall. I stopped asking only, "How do I stop this behavior?" and started asking, "What does this dog emotionally need from the humans around it right now?" One thing many dogs seem to need deeply from humans is emotional clarity. Dogs generally relax more when they understand what to expect consistently from the people and environments around them. This is why predictable routines matter so much for many dogs. Calm consistency helps nervous systems settle because the dog no longer feels the need to stay hyper alert, constantly trying to predict emotional changes. Many dogs living in emotionally chaotic environments struggle more than owners realize. Constant tension, frustration, emotional inconsistency, unpredictable schedules, loud conflict, or overstimulation slowly create emotional pressure over time. Some dogs show this stress openly through barking, reactivity, pacing, whining, clinginess, hypervigilance, or destructive behavior. Others internalize stress quietly until behavioral problems suddenly appear later, seemingly out of nowhere. One thing I misunderstood for years was assuming exercise solved most emotional problems in dogs. Exercise absolutely matters, especially for active breeds, but tired dogs are not automatically emotionally fulfilled dogs. Some dogs receive endless stimulation while still feeling emotionally overloaded underneath. Physical exhaustion and emotional calmness are not always the same thing. This is why some dogs still seem unable to fully relax even after long walks or intense activity. Their bodies may feel tired while their nervous systems still feel emotionally overstimulated. Another thing many dogs need from humans is emotional safety. Dogs generally learn, recover, and regulate themselves better when they feel safe enough emotionally to process the world calmly. This becomes especially important for anxious, fearful, or reactive dogs. Many of these dogs are not trying to create problems intentionally but are struggling to feel emotionally secure enough internally. One thing that surprised me most was how often behavior improved once emotional pressure decreased. Sometimes dogs did not need more correction but actually needed calmer environments, clearer communication, and more emotional predictability instead. This is one reason calm leadership matters so much. Dogs generally respond better to humans who create emotional stability rather than emotional tension. That does not mean owners should become passive or allow chaos. Dogs absolutely still need structure, boundaries, and guidance. But structure works best when paired with calmness instead of frustration. Dogs generally become more cooperative when communication feels emotionally safe and understandable. Another thing dogs seem to need deeply from humans is patience. Many dogs struggle because humans expect instant understanding in emotionally difficult environments. Dogs often need time to process stimulation, learn routines, regulate emotions, and build confidence gradually. Emotional pressure and impatience frequently slow learning dramatically. One thing many owners accidentally do is create emotional conflict during training without realizing it. Repeating commands constantly, showing frustration, or escalating emotionally often disconnects dogs mentally instead of helping them learn. Dogs are incredibly sensitive to emotional tone. Many become confused or emotionally overwhelmed when communication feels tense, unpredictable, or pressured. This is why calm communication changes behavior so powerfully. Dogs generally stay mentally connected much longer when they feel emotionally safe instead of emotionally pressured. Another huge thing dogs need from humans is trust. Dogs that trust their owners emotionally often recover from stress much faster overall. Trust is not built only through obedience. It develops through consistency, fairness, emotional reliability, patience, predictable routines, and repeated safe interactions over time. Emotionally secure dogs still experience fear, excitement, frustration, and stress. But they usually regain emotional balance more quickly because they trust the people guiding them. Dogs living in constant uncertainty often struggle to regulate themselves calmly. Their nervous systems remain hyper-alert because life never fully feels emotionally predictable or safe. One thing I eventually realized is that many dogs are constantly trying to understand human emotional energy. They pay attention to far more than commands alone. Dogs notice frustration during walks, tension inside homes, anxiety around strangers, nervousness near triggers, and emotional changes in routines immediately. They constantly absorb information from human behavior itself. This is one reason emotionally calm owners often help dogs feel calmer too. Dogs frequently mirror the emotional atmosphere surrounding them daily. Another thing dogs need from humans is decompression and balance. Modern dog culture sometimes pushes nonstop stimulation as the ideal lifestyle for every dog. But many dogs actually thrive most when life feels emotionally calmer, slower, and more predictable overall. Nervous systems need recovery just as much as bodies do. This does not mean dogs should live boring lives without enrichment or activity. It simply means balance matters enormously between stimulation and emotional recovery. One thing highly sensitive dogs especially seem to need is understanding. These dogs often react strongly to emotional tension, chaotic environments, overstimulation, and inconsistency. Some become clingy, reactive, hyper-alert, or anxious because they feel emotionally overloaded constantly. Others internalize stress quietly until behavior suddenly changes later. This is why emotional awareness matters so much for owners. Behavior often reflects emotional state underneath far more than many people realize. One major mindset shift for me was understanding that dogs are not simply trying to obey humans constantly. Many are trying to feel emotionally safe enough first before they can fully process training and expectations calmly. That perspective changes everything. Suddenly behavior becomes communication instead of simply obedience or disobedience. Another thing dogs seem to need deeply from humans is connection itself. Dogs are incredibly social emotional animals strongly affected by the quality of interaction they experience daily. Connection often appears in very simple moments. Calm presence, patient communication, relaxed routines, emotional predictability, and feeling emotionally understood matter enormously to many dogs. Some owners focus heavily on commands while unintentionally neglecting emotional connection entirely. Dogs may obey beautifully while still feeling emotionally disconnected from the relationship itself. This is why emotionally connected dogs often appear calmer overall. Trust and safety create nervous system stability that heavily affects behavior itself. One thing I eventually realized is that dogs are constantly communicating emotional needs through behavior. Barking, pacing, reactivity, shutdown behavior, clinginess, overstimulation, and hypervigilance often reflect emotional imbalance underneath. The more I understood this, the more I realized I had misunderstood what dogs truly need from humans for years. Exercise, obedience, stimulation, and structure matter enormously, but emotional safety, calmness, trust, consistency, patience, and connection may matter even more. Today, when I see calm emotionally balanced dogs, I pay attention to something very different than I used to. I no longer only look at obedience but also at the emotional atmosphere surrounding the relationship itself. And honestly, I think many dogs are trying to tell humans the same thing constantly through their behavior every single day.